Hello, welcome back to Queen Feminine Energy. In today's video, we're going to talk about destiny swapping. Yes, ladies, destiny swapping. Destiny swapping is the belief that one person's life path is stolen by another person. That person has replaced that victim's life with their karma and their misfortune. And so it's a form of parasitic energy transference. You will see it as a person mimicking the victim. You'll see it as a person using copycat behavior, social climbing, and metaphysical symptoms. Things that all of a sudden are disappearing, things that are happening that you can't quite explain. Some people, they experience it and they think it's just bad luck, or oh well, I got a loss here, or it's just a series of unfortunate events. But we have to be detectives in our own lives, lady. You know how we used to, let's say used to, be detectives in our boyfriends' lives and our husband lives. Well, you got to be a detective in your own life. And so when you take the veil off and you see the illusion, you will see that the reason that some of your problems, if they're prolonged, is that possibly you could be a victim of destiny swapping. And so some of the signs is that the person is mirroring your life. You might have a best friend that all of a sudden that they're dressing like you, they're talking like you, they're liking things that you like, when before they never cared about it and never liked it. You see a person putting themselves into your opportunities. You have sudden stagnation, delays, and procrastination when you're doing your projects. You have unexplained problems in your career and life goals. You just can't understand why something didn't go through. It's not the usual thing. You just can't explain it, and no one else can explain it. You have a decline of luck or blessings in your life. Things could be going well, and then all of a sudden they're not going well. The other person is thriving while you are falling down. You're in the mud. You're in some type of pit. You've lost your clients, you've lost your business, you have had nothing but loss, and the other person around you, whether it's your boyfriend, husband, best friend, a friend, someone like that, they're just thriving and taking off. They're getting all the wins, and all of a sudden you're getting all the losses. And so you might see intense envy all of a sudden with your friend or with your husband. All of a sudden there's a problem, you're doing something wrong, and they're always angry at you. Or perhaps they don't even want to look at you anymore. They disappear. So those are some signs that there's some destiny swapping, when it repeats over and over and is consistent. The person is constantly asking for personal details. This could be someone at church, and all of a sudden they want to go to your house, meaning you didn't invite the person. They're inviting themselves over to your house, planning things in your house like tea. Well, that's not the way it goes, ladies. As you know, that you should be the one inviting people in your home, but these people, all of a sudden, they're trying to break their neck to get inside your home to see what's in there, or possibly what they can take out. Also, you might see physical contact that drains you. It could be being intimate with a partner or a boyfriend, and that relation that you have with the person it makes you sick. You feel drained after relations. You feel drained. You're sick during the act and afterwards. That's not normal. They want more physical contact when you have a platonic relationship with the person. Just weird things like they want to hug you all of a sudden. They want to bring you little gifts all of a sudden that they've never done before. Or it could be weird, like you could just be someone that you see a little bit of time, and all of a sudden they're giving you gifts like you've been friends for the longest. That's not normal. And so, some of the symptoms that you might get from this type of relationship with a person is that you have prolonged misfortune, meaning, like I said earlier, you're losing out clients and jobs. It's been going on for weeks, months at a time. You can't explain it. You're just losing, and the other person has gotten clients, whether it's a similar business or something unrelated. Maybe they've taken your clients and you don't know it. So it could be something like that. Um, you could be getting in car accidents. All of a sudden, you're driving on an interstate for years and going a certain way, and you've gotten hit in the back of your car when you're at a stop sign. These are unexplained type of situations. You can have mental issues and confusion all of a sudden, where before you were happy and peaceful person. You could just be a happy, upbeat person, don't have problems with people, and all of a sudden you're having problems with people. Every time you go somewhere with the person, people start acting up. For example, you could go in a restaurant that you've gone to before and never had problems, and when you go with that person, there's like 101 mistakes with the order. You slipped and fell, your order was messed up, someone dropped something on you, there's disrespect. It seems like all the places you go to, something is always wrong, and the people are treating you bad every time you're around or with that person. Not with other people, but that particular person. You could have a loss of identity where people mistreat you, and you feel like this is not even your life anymore. What's going on? And you're getting the treatment of someone that has done, I don't know, like horrible things, and you're just a regular person, but people are treating you like that perpetrator that swapped your life. So these things are not normal at all, and these are a lot of signs that possibly destiny swapping has happened to you, or you may know someone that this has happened to, and you can tell them about it. And I'm sad about this because as women, we need to know and be able to discern some of the things that we're getting involved with when we're trying to date and meet men. And you got to have your standards. You have to have a high value mindset. But even when you vet and shuffle through, when someone's hiding and masquerading and wearing a mask, it takes a while sometimes for the mask to fall off. You have to remember that some people who have psychopathy in the dark triad, people who are narcissists, they've been doing that for a long time. They've gotten away with it. They have supply everywhere, and so they're used to it. They're looking for sweet women. They're looking for women with high standards because it's a challenge. It's not you. You could be a woman with high standards and be a smart woman and college educated and have all these businesses and careers, but still, for some reason, a man like that comes to you. And so I want to discern and help you ladies with discernment for this, and so that you're aware of what's going on. You have to be careful. And another video I want to do is about energy harvesting. That's another trick of certain type of men. And so, like I said, some of these men, they don't care if you're dead or alive. They want to receive for free, and they'll do anything to get it. There's some men that see you being a high level woman. They smell success. People lie. Sometimes men lie, right? And you don't know what type of background they really come from. Sometimes you don't even know if someone's legal or illegal. So it takes a lot of vetting and a lot of time, because there is a lot of different reasons why men do destiny swapping, and they also harvest women's energy. And again, I want women to live their best lives and become the best version of themselves. I want them to do well and be prepared when they go out here and date and go on dates with men, that they don't end up losing or lose anything. I want you ladies to be prepared and to know what's out there, so that you can skillfully discern and say no thanks and leave the date if you have to, not answer the call anymore, so you don't get caught up in these type of situations. So another thing I want to talk about with destiny swapping, I have a Christian background, but also other cultures have noticed this too, and this is a belief in other cultures and things that have happened. So with people that are Jewish or practice Kabbalah, Kabbalistics call it soul exchange because it's based on bad actions. So they call it soul exchange. In Hindu, they call it karmic transference or cosmic theft. And, it's not even common in that culture because that person has to go to unordinary type of people. So in other words, to be able to do destiny swap, you're not going to a regular person to have this spell put on someone. Most likely you're going to a shaman, or you're going to a witch doctor, a voodoo priest, or someone like that to have this done. So when they have picked a woman out, they are doing this with intention. It's premeditated. They know what they're doing. Absolutely. They're paying for this, or maybe they have a family that does it and the family is going to benefit from it. So, maybe this is done for them for free so that it benefits everyone. And I want to explain this very well because we are in the age of Trump. The economy has slumped down with the tariffs. The penny has been basically removed. People are acting crazy. They got ICE raids and immigration issues are all across the United States, and it's still going on. And so people are desperate, and especially men are desperate. Men that maybe not be from this country. They're trying to stay here by any means necessary. Maybe they have their family involved. Like I said, I've traveled in different countries. I've been to different Caribbean countries like Haiti. I've been to South America and places like Peru, and places where people, their country before, they weren't able to do paperwork, immigration paperwork, to come to this country because the administration had blocked certain countries before 2026 from coming here, before 2025, 2024 from coming to this country. So some people have came here illegally from those cut off countries, and they're desperate to stay over here, and they'll do anything. They don't care if they meet a woman, don't like the woman, pretend to be with the woman, do marriage fraud to get the woman, but they don't want the woman. They want the paperwork. And in no way am I trying to offend anyone or say anything, but my job is I'm a protector of women. And so I need to explain these experiences because I've gone through it, and I've watched other women gone through it, and I've helped other women get through the situation where basically the man has stolen from them and tried to do a destiny swap with the woman and left her in a bad situation. And so, ladies, I'm just trying to tell you, be careful out here and understand when someone is trying to teach you about the different things and the different tricks of men. Please listen. Okay? So those are different cultures that also have the belief of destiny swap, and they just call it different things. And so why do people do that? Okay? Why would men want to do that? That's to the extreme, right? Because it's also called spiritual bypassing. And so that's where individuals they want to avoid their responsibilities, or they want a better life, and by changing their fate. And there's different ways to do it. You could do a name change. A person could come into this country legally. They could find a different way to do it. But some people, they're just gutter people. They're pigs, basically. So, ladies, you have to be aware and be discerning of pigs. We don't play with pigs. We don't give our pearls to pigs. We don't play with them, because what do pigs do in the mud? they splish splash, they roll around, and they will trample you in the mud. And so these people don't play fair. These men, they don't care. Their families don't care. They have greed and they just want to come to this country, or they could be a celebrity and are trying to become a celebrity, and they want to take out what's keeping them from becoming the person or rising up the ranks. And so again, they want to avoid their responsibility for their own lives by blaming others. They feel like they didn't get a fair shake in their town or their country or in their industry, and things have been slow. Maybe the person has tried to have a business but they weren't successful and it didn't work out. Maybe they had many businesses that didn't work out, and then they see you doing well with your business, and so the quickest way that they can think of is to do a destiny swap. And so I've seen this even as a little girl, from way back then. Even when I was a little girl, I remember watching celebrities, singers. Matter of fact, I remember two distinctive singers in my mind where, I was hearing their music, watching their videos, and loving them when I'm 10, 13 years age, and then all of a sudden they died in horrific, horrendous ways. And then all of a sudden, a month later or in a short amount of time, someone else has taken their place. So I have seen it with singers. I have seen it in other people's lives, and it's just a real horrible thing. So the controversy with destiny swapping. Some people say it's not true and that's a fairy tale. Well, like I said, it's happened to me. It's happened to a friend of mine, and I have seen it in other people's lives. It very much is true. The other controversy that people think, well, if that happens to you, you must not be religious, or, you're not spiritually strong in your faith. Well, that's not true, because the Bible has a book called Job. And in the book of Job, there was a man who had it all. And he was hit by the enemy. He was hit by Satan and lost everything. And in the book of Job, as you read through it, you learn that it wasn't what Job did. He was actually tested because he had the strongest faith in God. He had the strongest faith in Jehovah and in God, the Alpha and Omega. He had a strong faith in the God of the universe, and God allowed this to happen to him. His wife told him to curse God and die. That's how bad it was, that he lost his wealth, his businesses, all of his kids, his health, and everything. So destiny swapping can happen to anyone. It can happen to the strongest woman. It can happen to the weakest woman. It can happen to a Christian woman. It can happen to a pagan woman. It can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter what your faith and spiritual level is. Bad things happen to people, and they see it as unfortunate events and things, but that could be what it is. Could be. Not saying it is all the time, but being a detective, there's reasons you can't explain it, and it's unfortunate, and you've lost everything and someone else has taken over your life. You got to think about it. And so, protection and intervention. What can you do? Well, you got to do some spiritual prayers. You got to do some fasting. You have to avoid negativity for a period, and you have to maintain strong individual purpose. So with prayers on my website, if you think this has happened to you, or you're in a state of depression because this has happened to you and you don't know how to get out of it, is you've gone months and a year like this in this type of situation where you just can't get out of it, then if you look at my website, you would see that I do have prayers, and I can write individual specific prayers about this and help you through it. I also have a Queen Esther purification program where for 6 months you purge emotional health, soul brokenness, all of those issues of being traumatized, abused, rejection, abandonment, loss of life, loss of joy, lost in all areas of your life. And then the other 6 months is for purification in the different ways, and purification for women. And so if you feel like this has happened to you and you want to talk about it, definitely look at my website and look at some of the products that we have that can help you with it. I'm here to help. I've gone through it, and I was successful. I've gained back everything, and so I've helped other women with it. There's so many different things in different ways, but again, the spiritual prayers that you need to do daily, every day, at least for 7 days straight. You have to take a fast, whether it's not eating, but drinking water, whether it's half a day, 3 days, 7 days. You know, it depends on your dietary needs and your medical conditions, what you can do. But, you know, when something like that has happened, you can't do like a simple prayer and think that's going to take care of it. That person has done a soul exchange. It's deep. It's some deep layers to it. It's some strong witchcraft. Like I said, I've been in Haiti. I've been in Peru. You have people that go to a shaman. You have people that, you know, their family has been doing it. It could be Santeria. It could be a family situation where the family is doing it. These people have taken your picture. They have taken your things, whether it's clothing or personal items that you use. They have dedicated to a demon or a spirit. And so, you know, this is a deep situation, and it takes deep, deep spiritual warfare. And so I'm glad that we've been able to talk about it. This is just part one, because I find destiny swapping so dynamic, and there's so many layers of it, and I like to talk about more of it at a later time. I also want to talk about industry harvesting, and just give you ladies, you know, things to look out for men. Of course, we're going to talk about our femininity and abundance, and how we can attract the man that we really want and deserve in our lives. But we also have to be discerning as we're interacting with these men. And so, you know, I've enjoyed talking to you about this, because I want you ladies to get the first scoop of what's going on and what's out here in the world. A lot of people don't share information and you don't hear about it. And I don't want my subscribers and my listeners to go through this situation. So again, thank you for coming back to Queen Feminine Energy, and I will see you in the next video.